This is Amplify You, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. Hello, Amplify You. Michelle Abraham here, your host. And today I'm super excited. I'm bringing you guys an Ask the Expert interview. And today my guest is Adera Angelucci. And I just so excited because Adera has, she's got so many cool things going on. She is known as the video queen. She is a co-founder of Spiro Creative. She is a business and marketing strategist and is passionate about working with those creative entrepreneurs like I am. Like so many light workers and amazing people that are out there just making a huge impact in the world. So Adera has got so much experience and knowledge when it comes to, exuding our confidence and being on video and all those amazing things. I've seen some of her work. I've been in working for companies that have used her videos everywhere. And I just love what she's up to. And I know she's going to have some great gems for us today. So Adera, welcome to Amplify You.
Thanks, Michelle, for having me. This is such a pleasure to be the other one on the interviewee side of things. Usually I'm in your seat, so this is always fun for me. And so awesome to have all of these entrepreneurs that are so willing to put out their message and their movement in a podcast voice form. And hopefully I'm going to try to convince you to do it in video form too. When you really kind of don't know what you're doing and you're just hoping that somebody resonates with what you have to say. So let's get into it.
Oh, I love it. So I, first of all, want to know, how did you get started on doing video work? And that's such an interesting niche, and you've been doing it for quite a while. So I'd love to know how you got started.
Well, simple story. Just when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. And then I really wanted to have my own TV show. That was going to be the thing. And I stated that to all my friends in high school. And they were like, yeah, right, you're going to have your own show. And so I was one of these people that didn't do like a route of, BCIT broadcast school. I very much went on my own little path and had a lot of work experience, got a producer job, got a hosting job, and then eventually I had my own TV show. And so I was so passionate about interviewing people, finding their story, learning why they did what they did. That was really my curiosity in life. I was one of these why askers. I'm actually writing a TEDx right now about it. And I really wanted to understand how their world worked and why they chose what they did. And the best way I knew how to do that was showcase it on video. I mean, you and I grew up watching TV and movies and being swept away by stories. And so I really wanted to tell really awesome stories that motivated, inspired, and uplifted humanity, and in essence, to start thinking outside the box and do things that they loved. So that's what I did. And then I met my now husband through that experience, and he had all the video and editing skill set, and I had all the producing, hosting, marketing skill set. So we've come together and now have had our video company since 2011.
That's amazing. So not only did he check off the husband boxes, but he also checked off the partnership and work boxes as well. That's awesome. That's great. He came with those skills. I taught my husband how to do podcast editing and stuff along the way. So
wow, good for you. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's been helpful for us because we know how to stay in our lanes, because it is very interesting if you also work with your partner and the people listening. It can really mess with the relationship, because then are you work people? Are you like lovers? Are you, hanging out as roommates? So it just adds one more extra level to the relationship that can get tricky
For
sometimes.
sure, especially when we're all working from home, living from home, like whatever. We don't leave our houses anymore. Yeah, it adds a whole different layer to things, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. I just love all the experience that you've had. It's really neat. And I want to touch back on some of the things that you just said in a minute about your getting stories out of people, because I think we could use some of your skills and some of your knowledge in are some helping us become better interviewers as well. So I'm going to touch back on that in a minute, but I want to find out more about video. So what's your thoughts on videos for podcasters? Should we be doing podcast videos?
Yes, of course. Yes. I mean, honestly, people only retain, I think, like 35% of what they see and hear, or hear. And then if they see and hear it together, it's like up to 65%. So it only makes sense that you would show a visual and see, like hear someone talking at the same time. Someone's going to definitely be able to capture that information better in their brains.
Yeah, like I think you're appealing to different learning styles too,
I
right?
love
So that
love my percentages and how they were so off. But my point was is that you retain more information when you see and hear something together.
I got that. That's all good. Yeah, I think that's great. So what we're finding about podcasters is that, a lot of people are a little hesitant to do the video because let's try that again. Statistics are showing that people are out there like taking you with them when they're
Yes.
podcasting, which means like they're away from their computers usually. But I think that then if you're doing only audio podcasts, you're probably missing out on a huge percentage of people that are at their desks and watching YouTube or watching videos as well. Do you think that's correct?
Okay, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, I would say most people are taking their podcasts in the car and on the road, so they're not actually going to watch the visual. But if you have your podcast on YouTube, YouTube's the second rated search engine because it's owned by Google. We all know this. So it does make sense that your interview or podcast would come up as an option while I'm searching for something in that topic. So it's just another way to get a notice. I watch a lot of YouTube videos while I'm driving. I'm not watching it, but it's playing.
Yeah.
And it's because that's where I go to find my searches, or I'll be looking on Google for something. So I'm not everyone knows to go to some podcast streaming, place for information. We could just already kind of be online or at our desk and your information pops up that way. So that's why I think it's awesome to have it available.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And, I think there's the more places you can have it, the better. So it's not going to hurt anything. And if you're already recording in audio, you might as well just turn on that camera. And as long as you got okay lighting, then you're good to go.
Yeah. Like I was just thinking, I just watched one the other day. It was like an hour and a half long. And I found it on YouTube because I'm not accustomed to going to my podcast app to Google search for information when I'm looking.
Yeah, that's a really good point because there's so many people already on YouTube. Might as well take advantage of the people that are already there listening to, right? I was just going to ask you, as far as like video goes, like what are some suggestions or some must-haves that we need to do before we think about doing a video for a show?
Well, everyone obviously needs a good microphone, which I do not have because every time I plug it in, it like goes to my Bluetooth and I'm just like the tech piece of it I haven't quite figured out yet, but I have two awesome microphones that I should be using. So number one, have a good audio source, or make sure that wherever you are, where Michelle is, she looks like she's in a little cabin, is like locked off sound wise. So we're not hearing like screaming children and things in the background. And then obviously you want a good light source. So I'm just using my window basically, and I have another little light right here. But other than that, you just want to make sure you're well lit and well heard, and that the place behind you is not cluttered. So, I mean, this isn't totally ideal. I mean, I could really play around with this a little bit more, but for the most part, it's clean, right? And it's not taking away people's attention to what I'm saying.
Right. And so for people that are watching, Adera's got like a couple of videos in the back, or a couple of pictures on the wall, and she's got a few things on her shelves. I have nothing, but I'm also in front of a window, but my lighting's not as good as yours. It's a lot darker. And so my background is quite black. So we want to ideally have a little bit lighter background. Is that right?
Yes. You want to make sure, well, technically like your 3-point lighting is that you have two lights at you this way and one that's lit behind you. So.
Oh, okay. I always wondered about that. Yeah, I have one of these guys too, but I feel like it just doesn't even like do anything on my There, a little bit better. Yeah, it's not strong enough, this one. Usually when I'm recording, I have actually a painter's light.
Oh, nice.
That's
Yeah.
like a super hardcore, like
Uh-huh.
right in your eyes kind of light. But it seems to work really well, but only if I have certain angles because it doesn't cast, because it casts a shadow.
Yeah.
So so the two lights in front of you, one behind you strategy seems to help eliminate that shadow
Yes.
situation.
Yes, and I have a tiny little shadow right here, but I can't. I don't know if I turn my light off back there if it would help. It might. It's actually probably this light. No, it's not. I don't know. Yeah, and then in your edge too, I would have like some stuff in your backdrop, whether you have like a painting and like something just on a wall or some sort of motivational quote or something, and you're golden. And then we don't really want to see the roof. And we want to make sure that we're like at eye level with the lens. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I was also thinking too, when someone's hearing your podcast and maybe they're really resonating with you, they're going to want to Google search you and see who you are. I know I do that. I do that for like reference of who I was actually listening to, whether I'm jiving with their persona and like their real self. I mean, that's one reason why I love video so much is because it really does reveal who you are, say over like a picture or hearing someone's audio. Like you can see me, you're kind of picking up my energy just over this visual. So,
and I think a natural curiosity too, like I would want to go and listen. I want to go see who I'm listening to, so that I have that like image of them in my head. Because if you wait too long, you know them really well through audio only. Then you go look at your picture, you're like, what? That doesn't match, right?
Totally.
I love that. It's so funny. So tell us a little bit more about like some things that when you're thinking about, like you love putting stories into to videos. So how can we kind of make that work into our shows?
So my philosophy, and I think everyone's, if they're like awakened in some capacity, is that we're not actually buying a product necessarily for the product. We're buying the story behind it or the reason why that product was developed. So I particularly choose this particular face cream because I know my girlfriend who makes it, and I know she puts love and energy and awesomeness in there. Is that face cream better than another face cream? Maybe not, but it's the story that's behind it. It's the love, the reason why that it's there, that I buy it. And so I think understanding someone's real reason for putting something out is what's going to attract people to you, your people, the ones that really resonate with your cause or your belief system or your philosophy. And I think that's why it's so important to come out with stories that you can share that helped formulate sort of the reason why you do what you do, stories of, more understanding or deep discovery that this is why you're implementing this certain thing into your business, or this is why you want to offer this thing. Over the decade that I've been in business for myself, my why or my reasoning for doing stuff really hasn't changed. It's just evolved, and over that time, I've gained more confidence because confidence, just if you need to note anything from this podcast, comes after the action. So it's like taking that initial step of sharing a story or putting yourself out on video where you actually then gain the confidence to do it again and or, see if you liked it or not. It's like that courage that you need to muster to do it for the first time that's actually going to then build the foundation of the confidence within yourself, because that's the only way you're going to start to believe that what you bring to the world has value. And I will let you know this, might put out a lot of things that no one resonates with, and we can't take that personally. It's just that maybe the timing, maybe the message at the moment, or maybe just everyone's at a different stage of whatever in your world that they didn't cling on or comment on what you had to say. And it can be very daunting that you're like, well, no one cares about me. Obviously, no one wants this message. No one, thinks how I think. And that's totally not true. Maybe that moment was there for you to then be able to have the confidence to do it again and see when you start landing for people and they start to really react to what you're saying. And I will let you know that it is always story that people get moved by. you think about movies, if they didn't have a story, like we have no reason to cry or laugh or communicate on an issue. So really, truly, our human brain is wired to understand a story. So sharing something within your own life, someone's life, or something that you had an aha moment around is really how people are going to connect with you.
You kind of touched on it a second ago, but is there any particular like types of stories that I always struggle with, like, what stories should I tell? Like, I don't know, like, are people going to find this interesting? I don't know. So any particular types of stories that we should be looking at? And you said like one that's close to your why. Any other ideas?
Well, it has to come from a place of enthusiasm and I don't feel like we need to tell stories for the fact of telling stories. I think there is so much noise in the world right now that we really need to like tap in and dig a little deeper on like why we're sharing a story. So what for you, let's just talk about this, Michelle. Can you think of it why you want to tell a story, or like where are you wanting to position this story, or like what is the purpose of the story?
Yeah, so this is a great topic because I had something happen to me last week that was pretty devastating for business. And it was like my Facebook account got deleted. And however superficial that may seem on the surface of it, it actually like took me a while to be like, wow, all those memories are gone, all those pictures, like, years of like connections, 15 years actually that I've been on Facebook, just gone. So that's
Totally
the story I want to talk about either on my podcast or share with everyone. One is like, oh gosh, this could happen to you too. But then like, and what are some things we can do about it? So that was kind of an idea I was having for a video or a story, but I just wasn't sure how to really, work that in.
So are you still in the muck of it, or have you come out the other side?
I would say I'm about a week into like rebuilding everything.
Oh gosh, my goodness. Okay.
I've got about 150 friends on Facebook compared to my 5,000 last week.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And everyone wants to know, is this a fake friend request?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know why it was deleted, or is that not really relevant?
No, it was deleted because I violated some community guideline. And I suspect it's because I posted that I won an award and that we were enrolling in our program on my personal profile. So apparently that's not no longer allowed.
Oh, crikey. I better check this out. This is horrid. Okay. So, so the story here then, obviously, is that you made a boo-boo that you were like unaware of. So you're letting people know that this could happen to you. So FYI, don't do this kind of thing. So that's obviously a really great header. Like if you do this, your Facebook account could be deleted kind of thing. And then I want to hear the feelings that were coming up for you when this happened, things you never considered, the way that it just feels like this emptiness in your life, how, you'd built all of these things up and now you have to like restart. And then it makes you question everything. Like, are you going to do all the things that you did before, or are you going to pivot in some capacity? And you can either share that story now and kind of leave me hanging because I really don't know what your final result is, or you can wait till you come out of the other side so that you actually have some like great takeaways for me. Like, obviously make sure to protect your pictures or keep whatever you care about, but also, know that you are more than your Facebook group. And maybe this is something that happens to you so that you can re-establish yourself in a new capacity.
Yeah, those are great ideas, because that's literally like going through my head is like, well, do I add back all those friends from high school that 15 years ago I was still in touch with? Now, not really. Has this opened up more space for new connections? And at one point it was a big loss. Like I was grieving a loss of all those, wedding photos that people were tagging me in and all these events and things that I had never downloaded because I thought they were going to be there forever. Right. And then at the same time, there's a whole bunch of extra new room. There's a lot more space. It feels like a lot of stuff has been lifted off, like that's not there anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, the emotions that's evoked over the course of a week. And I went through the emotions of like grieving to be like, okay, I think this is okay. And to be like, okay, well, maybe this is a good thing that happened. Right.
Well, and those things are all part of the story. I love all of that. That's a very engaging story. I would definitely read that.
Cool. I love that. So that's great. So guys, let's just bring it back to like what Adera just said. So it was like, so you need some emotion in it. Emotion. Yeah. You need.
Go ahead. Well, I just wanted to say, and I'm really like, sorry if this goes against your philosophy, but you have me on your show. I'm really against experts because I feel like I could be an expert in how I am dealing with
Mhm.
my business and what I've chosen to do because it fits me and my values, but it could not be the right advice for you or the right direction for you. So it's really when you put out a story or a message like you
Mhm.
are for the Facebook story that you're going to create, you're going to share your experience in it. And it's okay that you don't have the answers too, right? Like you don't
Mhm.
have to be like, these are the 3 tips to make $100,000. Like, fuck, those might not be my tips, you know? Sorry,
Mhm.
swearing. I'm not sorry. So you really need to, I think, lead with curiosity, leave people with the empowerment of finding their own answers. I think that is just
Mhm.
key. And taking me on a journey, like what it was like for you for real, because I'm obviously going to connect with that because I have had similar experiences in other ways.
Yeah. And I think that's actually like what we are striving for, like authentic leadership, right? Like that
Yes.
is a leader sharing the, not just the good, but like the ugly and the bad that's happening in the under, opening up and being authentic. Like this is crap. This just happened. And now putting it all back together and not knowing the answers is okay. And I think you're totally right. That's going to inspire more people to listen in and like be a part of what you're doing or be interested or lean in, right? So it's that action. So I think those were, you guys are listening at home right now, those were some really great takeaways. Like rewind this podcast and listen, there's some really good gems in here. So I think those are really important and impactful. And sometimes when we try to, like, I like what you said about being the experts, like we're trying to be the expert, we come off as nobody listening to us because it comes off as almost uh
You know,
yeah,
everything.
like inauthentic or not real or like, scripted or, and I like that, people have to come up to their own conclusions. You're right. Those 3 tips for 100 grand might not be for you. They could be for someone else, but like maybe take one of those and then figure out the other two yourself. I like you're inspiring people to think.
Right. Well, I'm on the more Brene Brown side of things where it's
Mm-hmm.
like you want to empower other people to become their own leader, like their own inner guru. Like they can take in the information that's coming at them, whether it's through your podcast or through whatever senses they're having at the moment. And then they're able to like work that info and put it up against their values, their mission, their reasoning behind what they're wanting to do in life, and then kind of go forward. And of course, they're going to try some of these techniques and it won't work for them. And that's how they start to build their confidence in their decision making. And that's how they start to build their own roadmap for what success looks like for them, because everyone's path and everyone's journey and everyone's definition of success is all unique and different. Mm-hmm.
Confidence starts with action, guys. I heard it right here. Confidence starts. So for those podcasters out there, just before we let you go, I know you're busy and we're taking up a lot of your time here, but it's so valuable, this information, I think, for people to really, let it sink in about, don't be afraid to share your story. And if you are afraid, what are some things that they can do to get over that and get the confidence they need to really put themselves out there?
Taking risky action, just going for it. I mean, I work with so many people who are hiding behind their walls and they don't want to kind of be seen and they don't want to really show up, and when I fire them up around like their purpose or the reason behind what you're doing, I really feel like that needs to be on a big board somewhere, that you
Yeah.
have the reasoning for why you're doing what you're doing. It's like it doesn't matter if you splat it on the wall and nobody listens. The point is that you're listening to your own inner heart call, and you're putting out into the world what you really truly fully believe, and more of that is going to start to ignite other people into starting to believe what they believe, and you just automatically, I'm not joking, you will start to build a community and build a foundation and build a network all around this thing in you, that this drive that just needs to be heard, seen, and do. And you know what, not heard and seen from other people, but like heard and seen from you. So
Yourself.
I think
Yeah.
that's a really great place to start, is like,
Yeah.
this thing is in you that's asking to be seen and heard. And if it can be seen and heard by you, and you putting it out into the world and whatever, like no expectations on how it lands and just allow it to unfold, your life is going to be just fine, just perfect, just amazing, successful in your own way.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. I was asked the question last week when I was on a podcast being interviewed. I was being interviewed for something. They said, what changes have you noticed in your clients from like before launching their podcast to like, say 6 months or a year in? And I had never thought about that before. But when I look back at all of them, holy crap, like their like confidence is exuding, like they've exercised their voice. Their voice is like found a way out. Like it's amazing. They've just blossomed into these incredible leaders. So yeah, it's so cool. And then it's funny, I never really like had a chance to think about that and look back on it, but wow, it's just super cool. So if anything you leave with today, guys, is to just get started, take some action, turn on the video camera when you're recording, press record. It's not so scary after all. Maybe the first time, and you can always stop it. Just because you're pressing record doesn't mean it has to go anywhere into the world. You could actually stop it and not share. And then when you're ready, share it, but don't be afraid.
And the other thing is too, like if you look back on anybody that's sort of like uber, followed, like Sunny Lenarduzzi or Marie Forleo, and you go back to their very, very, very first video, they're not great. They literally are just kind of getting their thoughts together. They're just kind of putting themselves out there. They're not lit correctly. So all of that stuff is true. And you have an option of keeping it or deleting it. They've chosen to keep them there so that you can see the progression and that you don't think it was just perfect out of the gate. If that's not really for you and you really want to like delete your old stuff eventually when you're feeling more established, great, do it. The other thing is too, is don't think, I know we always sell like there's millions of people online and everyone's going to see you. 10 people might see it. And the other thing, like I feel too about these like competitions and things like putting out photos of ourselves and tagging people in the challenges and stuff. I'm like, this is just today. Like next week, this will not exist and no one's going to care. So like truly don't put so much pressure on yourself about showing up for a video and thinking like, oh my God, so many people are going to see it. So many people are going to think I'm so stupid or whatever silly little story you have running in your head, which is not true. Maybe no one will see it, but at least you did it. And at least you're going to keep on working it and getting better at the skill, right? That's really what it is a skill set. And sorry, I just wanted to end on something else around, now I just forgot, but I was on a roll there. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Woo!
I was just going to say, where else can we find out more information about you and how your videos and how we can work with you, Adera?
Yeah, you bet. So AderaAngelucci.com kind of puts me in a nutshell. And then Spiro Creative is my video and production company there with my husband. And yeah, either way. But I feel like the work is to really understand your why and getting that bigger reasoning behind your movement. So you're really clear on that. And then taking steps, tiny little steps of putting yourself out there. And then getting better at that skill. And then feeling like, gosh, I feel so alive when I promote myself. I feel so excited to promote myself. Like I am safe, I am secure, and I have my inner knowing just locked in. There is no reason why I can't shout from the rooftops how I feel about life and what it is that I offer. And that's kind of where you want to be, right? Where you take out all that dense energy around putting yourself out there. It's just not needed.
I love it. Yeah. That is awesome. And if you don't know your why, go check out Simon Sinek's Discover Your Why TED Talk. It's a great one. I mean, it helped me a lot figure out what the hell I'm doing. Why am I doing this? What am I doing? Yeah. And then go check out Adera's website.
My TED Talk, my TEDx talk, let's put it out there. It's going to happen. It's why ask why. Why ask the question why? And it's just a dig deeper, like your moral compass, like understanding truly the root of everything that you're up to. Doesn't matter if you're a podcast person or a baker or a sewer or whatever you do in the world, the foundation is because of this thing. And that's the thing that you need to feel really strong about.
Yeah, and clearly you do too. So I love it. Well, thanks so much, Adera, for so much great brilliance. And we look forward to having you back again. And Amplify You family out there, make sure you go check out what Adera's up to. Her amazing videos are beautiful. And you should get her to do some for you and get your story out there in the world.
Yeah, so if you want to uncover your why and put it on video, I'm your girl.
Yes, I love it.
All
All
right.
right, family, till next time, be great and go out there and share your message with the world.
Yes.